Hi everyone, welcome to this week's video. Thank you for joining if you're new here. Today I'm going to be doing a Project Pan update for the month of June. And yeah, so basically for my Project Pan, if you don't already know, I choose 5 makeup items from my collection to be working on at the same time, and my goal is to completely use them up. And once I use something up, I then roll something else in. I don't have a rule that says I have to roll in the same type of product that I just finished. So if I finish a lip liner, I don't have to roll in another lip liner. I can just choose whatever I feel like working on next. I made a list at the beginning of the year, my planning to pan list. I'll link that video below, of all the things that I would like to ideally try to get through this year. So that's kind of the list I'm working off of when I roll something new in. So if you want to see the 5 items that I've been working on, the progress that I made, and maybe a new empty, then just keep watching. Right, so the first item we're going to update on is my Essence Hello Good Stuff primer. And I believe last month this was weighing in at 66 grams, so I definitely think the weight went down this time around. And now it's kind of hard to see because there's some like residual product there, but we're sitting right here. So I would say kind of at this primer word, which I think is good progress because when I rolled this in 2 months ago, I was starting right at this like division line. So we're definitely making progress. Still probably a couple months to go on this, but I really think this is nice for summertime. It just kind of is refreshing and creates a good base for my makeup. So I am enjoying using this, and we will just keep chugging along. Next is my Makeup Forever Aqua Lip in 3C. This is very slow progress, as can be expected from a lip liner, because I really only use it to just line my lips. I have tried a few times this month to wear it as a blush. I think I said I was going to experiment with that in the last video, and it really just doesn't work super great for that. Like, I tried it a couple times and like it's fine, but the color is just a little dark for this time of year, and then I did get some like splotchiness from it. So I don't know if I'll be able to do that going forward, but I believe last month we were at the K in makeup and now we're at the E. So I only sharpened this once this month. That seems to be the way it goes, just sharpen it once a month. So it'll definitely take some time to get down here, and I'm assuming eventually I just won't be able to sharpen it anymore. But I think this definitely, as I've said in past updates, is going to take me the entire year to use up, but that's okay. And I just want to say too, like, because these items are my product pan doesn't mean that's solely what I'm using every single day. Occasionally I change up my lip liner if I want a different color, or don't wear lip liner at all depending on the day or what I'm doing. So it just kind of depends. But in general, these are the ones I'm trying to grab for most often, but I do rotate through other products as well. Yeah, so that is the update for the lip liner. Next, we have a bronzer, a powder bronzer. I rolled this in last month. This is the NARS Laguna bronzer. It is a mini size, and you're not gonna be able to see much progress, although I definitely feel like I can see a small dip going, like I can see more of the sides of the pan, if that makes sense, but definitely not gonna be able to see a ton of progress. So it's just a nice bronzer for this time of year. I'm wearing it today. It's light, it blends out nicely, and I think it's good for this time of year when you're spending more time outside and your skin's gonna be a little deeper. So I think this is gonna take a little longer to use up than I originally anticipated, even though it's a mini, but that's why project panning sometimes is good. It gives you perspective on how long it really does take to use up things, even powder products. So we will keep going on this and see if maybe by the end of July we can hit a pan. So yeah, that is where we're at on this one. My next product is another one that I think is going to take the majority of the year to use up, and it is my ABH brow powder. I had mixed both the sides together and repressed it already, so just kind of been working on expanding the pan and clearing the product off the edges a little bit. So this is the main edge that we have left. So that's probably where I'm going to be focusing on in July. But again, I don't use a ton of product every time you use this. That's something else to think about when project painting or focusing on a product is, sometimes you're just really not using that much on a daily basis. So it is going to take you a long time to get through something, but as long as it's a product that you like and that works for you, that's okay. So I definitely feel like I'm getting my money's worth on this one, and yeah, we will just keep chugging along, but I think it's gonna take me the entire year to use this. I'm okay with that. Brows are not my favorite part of my makeup routine, as I've said many times before, so it is kind of nice to just have this really simple product to grab for every day and just kind of do the powder lightly, fill it in, and then move on. So that is where we're at on the brow powder. So the last product I have, it's empty-ish, so let me explain. It is my Wet n Wild contour stick in Oaks on You, and I had said from the beginning that once this leveled off, I was not going to keep using it. I wasn't going to take the time to dig out everything in there and keep going because this is a pretty old product, and I just feel like once you reach a certain point, you're like, that's good enough for me. So as you can see, it is like almost leveled off. I honestly feel like I have maybe 1 or 2 more uses before it's leveled off because I do put this directly on my face. So I have already been feeling the past few times, I can feel the edges of the container scraping on my skin, so that's also not a good feeling. So I really think there's only like 1 or 2 uses. So I will use this a few more times until this is completely leveled out, but I'm going to consider this basically empty for this month so that I can move something else in and start working on that. Because again, if this only has 1 or 2 more uses, I don't want to waste a whole month not also working on something else. So what we are going to roll in is an oldie that I had started working on in, I believe, last year's project pan and then rolled out because it was just too dark to keep using throughout the year. And it is my Maybelline Superstay Better Skin Powder Foundation. I have it in the shade 30 Warm Nude. I had repressed this during the last project pan, so you can see there's really not a ton of product in here left, but I don't use a ton of this every time I use it. I don't powder my whole face typically in the summer, but I do like to put powder on those areas where you do get oily or your makeup is most likely to rub off. So basically my T-zone and like my chin. So again, I'm not using a ton of product every time I use this, but it is that time of year where this color actually kind of works okay for me. So I really want to try and use this up in the next few months, get it out of my collection. This is a super old powder, and since then, like, they've repackaged, reformulated everything, so you can't even buy this exact product anymore, even though I do think it was really good. So definitely time to get this out of my collection, and then at that point, I will only have 1 pressed powder and 1 loose powder in my collection, which will feel so nice. So this we will be rolling in to kind of start using now that this is basically done. So I know that's kind of, I don't want to say cheating, but it's kind of, fudging the rules a little bit. But like I said, kind of some products, once you reach a point, you're like, this is done to me. Like, yes, there's more product in here, but 1 to 2 more uses, and then this will just not be usable for me anymore. So don't want to waste a month not using something else or focusing on something else. So that is what we're going to be adding in. So those are the 5, now 6-ish products that I'm going to be working on in July forward. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Leave me a comment below if you're project panning and how that's going, or if you have any favorite summertime products that you are using and loving right now. So this is definitely the time of year where I think about things like this that are maybe a good color for this time of year. Same with the bronzer. I usually tend to use lighter products in the winter, slightly darker in summer, obviously, and then different textures of things. So yeah, leave me a comment below about that. And please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you get notified of all my upcoming videos. Take a look back at my Project Pan series so far. We are halfway through the year. Pretty crazy to believe. I will link all that below. But I will see you in next week's video. Bye.